Hello everybody, welcome back to Aussie Starcraft. Now I know it's been far too long, had a very busy week this week with my wedding anniversary and other things, but finally able to get back to the PC and cast some Starcraft. So this time we'll be bringing you some more 1v1 action from Heart of the Swarm. This time we're not taking games off the ladder. This is in fact from the Acer Team Story Cup that's been ongoing. This game took place about 10 days ago, so some of you may have seen it, many of you I know will not have. In the bottom left hand corner is our red Zerg, we have Acer's Nerchio. In the top right hand corner is our blue Terran, we have Millennium's ForGG. So very popular Terran and Zerg players respectively. I think we've cast some games of both ForGG and Nerchio here on the channel, and they proved pretty popular at the time. So I thought I would cast these series and see if you enjoyed the games. Now this is a one-off game. The victor of this game effectively stays in against the opposing team's challenger. So for example, ForGG was pit against one of Acer's dominant Terran players in the previous game, and for those of you who aren't familiar, Millennium ForGG, his Terran vs Terran is phenomenal, and so he's often been used in the Team Story Cup to try and knock out opposing players' power Terran players. So very good at doing that, and in fact he's done that again, but now ended up toe-to-toe against Nerchio. So we'll see if his ZvT is up to the same caliber as his TVT, and see what these players have in store for us today. So we have a command center first on the high ground for ForGG. Nerchio on the other hand elected to go hatch first, and follow that up with his spawning pool. So fairly standard openings from both these players here on Derelict Watcher. You'll often see this map nice and wide open areas in the middle of the map. Third base is quite separate from the natural, so that does factor quite heavily into the play style of both our players. I imagine we'll see that as they progress into the mid game. Very dangerous map for Terran to try and move out on, very easy for Zerg to get surrounds. You can see this massive open area in the middle of the field. So we'll see ForGG move out to try and scout this. Nerchio trying to, I guess, on patrol there, trying to see when and if ForGG tries to scout. Doesn't seem to be doing anything else with the probe, so wondering just why he's there. I guess patrolling while he waits for the hatchery to finish. ForGG just getting a little bit of a scout off, can see that the pool's already done. Command center finishing up now for ForGG. He'll be building both his orbitals. I just wanted to chat with you guys briefly about what's going on in the channel. We do have 4 Zerglings moving out here. Unlikely to get a lot of damage done, but they could well cancel this barracks that's... Sorry, not barracks, sorry, bunker that's on the low ground. We have a marine finishing here, and it looks like that bunker will finish just before these Zerglings are able to make it up. So that'll likely be the end of this aggression here, though. We do have a slight window of opportunity for Nerchio here. The bunker will finish and the marine can get inside, but there's actually nothing in place to stop these Zerglings trying to run through into the main, though. Without speed, 4 Zerglings don't pose a massive threat to ForGG. A few marines already out on the field, he's fairly safe. Have Nerchio going for a pair of gas in the main. Get the gas income going, probably grab Zergling speed and a Baneling nest in due course. Now with the channel, guys, now that things have eased off a little bit for me at work and have a lot more time, you can expect a very regular content update. We'll try and upload more than 1 video a day, or at least 1 at a minimum. So we're doing a fair bit of casting tonight just to ensure that you guys don't go Starcraftless over the coming week. So give us some feedback on whether you enjoy these games from the Home Story Cup or not. It's great players going at it in a different style of tournament than we're used to with the WCS and other tournaments that we've been casting. We can see that Nerchio is just continuing to drone very heavily, has 2 bases almost completely saturated. It'll be interesting to see when he decides to take his 3rd and 4th gas, guys. His 3rd base is going down. ForGG is completing his wall off. He's thrown down his extra barracks and grabbing all his reactors and tech labs. So stem about a quarter of the way done. and a few Hellions starting to move out now with the factory on that reactor. So Nerchio moving to wall this in as best he can. A Roach Warren and a few Evolution Chambers, plenty of Queens here. They're going to be able to block the remainder of this gap. So we'll see what Nerchio is able, what ForGG is able to get done with his Hellions. Third base is exposed, but there's not a lot that they can do to the hatchery. It does take a phenomenal amount of time to try and burn it down. It's the equivalent of, I guess, shooting an elephant with a water pistol. Not going to be able to do a whole lot there. Even these two Queens able to pose a bit of a threat, but they've got to be careful. These Hellions could slip around and into the natural, and that certainly would make it a lot more worthwhile for ForGG. Quick transfuse there is going to keep these Queens alive. Nice line up there from the Hellions, able to get most of those Zerglings to red in a single volley. A few Roaches now are on the field, so that'll signal the end of this harass. Hellions may rove back and forward trying to pick off any creep tumors, but really there's very limited aggression they can do with that. It'll be up to ForGG and what he's able to follow this up with. We do have still just the 3 barracks. ForGG himself trying to get his economy online. Lots of mules in play, and starting to stream Marines. Stim pack finishing up. Combat shields about to get started. Not a lot in the way of units on the field now for Nerchio. We have 3 Roaches and 4 Queens is the extent of it. You want to be careful. He is stretching himself pretty thin. He will get a glimpse of this army moving out momentarily, and we'll see if he actually reacts at all. 8 Roaches on the way now. You can see them as they move onto the creep. Going to make a quick push for the natural, and Nerchio really needs to pull back and try and keep these units alive. Doesn't want to lose any of these before he's able to engage. Picking off that Widow Mine would be a nice pickup, but just missing it there. Unfortunately, if that burrow is going to do great against any Zerglings that decide to move in and try and surround these Marines. Have a Spore Crawler making its way out, trying to take out these Medevacs. Queen's able to help it back, and it looks like Nerchio about to pull us back. We have constant reinforcements streaming forward for ForGG. He's got a few Marauders on the field, but Nerchio's persistent ability to pick off these Medevacs actually stalling ForGG's advances. So going up on 3 bases now, fairly saturated, and Nerchio with his 2-2 already on the way. We can see that ForGG's engineering base still aren't started, so we have a fair upgrade advantage for Nerchio, moving in with this mass pack of Roaches. These quite heavily stimmed units, unable to do a whole lot here. 1 Medevac with 10 to 15 Marines and Marauders is not a ratio that ForGG really wants to engage in. Still unable probably to bust up this ramp and end the game, but we have creep being spread at the 3rd base location, and Nerchio really working to ensure that he contains ForGG as best as possible. 2-2 almost halfway done. ForGG finally able to get his own upgrades underway, clear out this expansion, pick off that Overlord in a spray of blood. He's going to hopefully be able to move out, and we see the command center floating down now, but we have this pack of Roaches. It remains to be seen. Oh, nice pickup there from ForGG. Will keep those Marines alive. He knows just how essential it is to keep every unit alive at this point. We have Nerchio up on 3 bases. Hydralisks starting to hit the field now. 11 of them on the way, so we have quite a force here for Nerchio. We can see a massive supply lead. It's 166 to 106. That's a failed earlier attack, certainly costing ForGG quite a bit. Medevac counter still only 3, using a Medevac to try and spot this army. Indeed, he will see it here. Nerchio preemptively splitting, trying to get in a good position. Wants to get the best concave he can. So as you know, Roger's fairly low range. You want to be able to be in a nice concave. Siege tanks are now moving out to try and ensure that the position can be held. We see the factory and starport have swapped out, so we can produce the Medevacs 2 at a time and start producing siege tanks. We have Nerchio trying to take out this 3rd base, but he is caught up here on the high ground. He will be forced to engage. Not the best concave. He is going to be forced forward into the siege tank range. Hydra is able to pick off one of those, but no side of the high ground. The siege tank is going to start raking the kills here. 3 kills, lots of splash damage, but this siege tank, every volley's doing massive damage to the units. Unfortunately, the splash damage is not quite what it should be, hitting the roaches separate from the main. Nerchio able to muscle up here and take that siege tank out. This could be it for ForGG. What can he do to try and hold this aggression? We have Nerchio able to power more and more roaches. Still 152 supplied at 93. Work is being pulled off for ForGG. Muling to try and keep that money up. Is, as you can see, hovering very low on money and just a constant stream of Zerg units here, moving to take out the third base. ForGG trying to pin these units up, but these could easily be pinned by this force sitting on the right. You can pick off the medevacs and this army with it. Indeed, we see him trying to move into position here to do just that, but medevac boost is going to get them out of the way just in time. Will he snipe that medevac? No, he's intent on pushing up the ramp here. These workers pulled off the line again, but unable to do the damage necessary, and ForGG tapping out of the game. So quite a quick game here between ForGG and Nerchio. You see, saw an excellent defense on Nerchio's part. The thing that I particularly liked that Nerchio I felt did really well as opposed to other games that we quite frequently see. When we see the two main forces collide, or any forces collide with a Terran Bioball, so frequently you see them focus the ground units down and the medevacs just speed boost out and are able to be retained and used in the next fight. Nerchio did a great job, even things like moving this Spore Crawler out to try and force the medevacs back, using his queens excellently to try and pick away at those medevacs as best he could, constantly picking those off. So at any given time we had ForGG with only 2 or 3 medevacs in play. I think it made a massive difference. The stimmed units unable to stim as much as they would or be used as frequently as mobilely as he would like, very easily able to contain ForGG on 2 bases and take the win there. So I think that was a key moment for Nerchio, being able to I'm just struggling to speak English tonight. Being able to pick off those medevacs and just make it much harder for ForGG to rely on those core units of Marines and Marauders, unable to stim them as abusively as perhaps other Terran players would, because they're able to rely on those medevacs for the constant heal. So seeing Queens used in a way perhaps that we don't always see them, and it's quite aggressively there to pick off those medevacs early on. So great game from both these players. I'll be throwing their links in the description down below, so feel free to follow them and give them a shout out, encourage them along as they continue to play in the Team Story Cup. And we'll see you in the next cast. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you on the flip side. Thanks, guys.